Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and I'm here with a review, and a debut to the Vangelus review, of the Robot Spirits Robo Damashii Gundam 00. Robo Damashii is a line that I've been very interested in a lot of different ways, except for actually buying any. However, HLJ sent this along to me to review, and I really do appreciate it, although I will say, this was sent along, and that was sent along, and thanks to that and their current sale on a lot of these guys, I then spent money I wasn't going to spend in the first place and picked up that, along with this. So I guess if you're the kind of person who just wants to watch the opening 30 seconds of a review, then this speaks a little bit to the quality of Robot Damashii. But we're here for the main man, so let's move on into the toy. The very first thing I notice about this guy is that he is mostly made of very tough ABS-y plastic, at least hard stuff that does not feel rubbery like the old Mobile Suit in Action toys, which I tried ever so hard to like and just couldn't, really. I'm sorry, fans of MSIA, it wasn't for me. This guy's also really poseable, which is something else I wasn't quite expecting given his size, but he is loaded with some double joints up the wazoo, really effective ball jointage everywhere. The torso joint again took me by surprise. This line is a bit of a cousin line to SHFiguarts, but, these guys, their size and everything, and their slightly lower price point at times had me thinking maybe they were going to be a bit, blockier or maybe a little bit less posable, but that really is not the case, as you can hopefully see as I fiddle with this dude while I talk. And these toys are really eminently fiddly fun, right down to this toe joint even. They're great desk toys. The small size is a boon to their desk toy ability, and I will say I do like this size a lot more than the HCM Pro size. I don't own any of them, but I was in Japan in time to see a lot of them come out for Gundam 00, and they're just a little bit too small for me, I gotta say. So these guys have a really good size going on, and they do come with quite a few accessories at times. One special thing to note about 00, though, is that he actually manages to retain the classic Gundam-style foot, which some of his fellows sadly actually lose in their sculpts. Anyway, let's arm this guy up. Now, there are two things I should really note right off the bat. Number one, Robo Damashii, along with a lot of other Bandai lines, all are designed to work with the Tamashii stage separate stands that they sell, and that's both good and bad. It's nice in that they're really nice display stands, and you can get lots of them for fairly cheap if you're lucky, but the downside is that they are also not included with any of these guys. The other thing I want to point out right now is I have not actually watched Gundam 00 past the first 6 episodes of the first season. Gundam's really just not my thing, and, depending on who you ask, not watching 00 is either an awesome thing or a horrible thing, so just bear that in mind as I refer to his various equipments and whatnot. Anyway, get down from there! This dude does come with a couple alternate fists. Basically, there's closed fists, holdy stuff fists, and then the I have fingers hand. Swapping his hands is not too hard, they're just on ball joints and pretty much pop on and off quite easily, although I am worried because look at the size of that ball joint, it's so tiny and breakable, although, I can't really speak to its durability in the long term, and it does feel pretty solid, it's just kinda worrying. The smallest detail I can show you right now is the beam saber handles. They plug onto his butt and they can oscillate up and down for whatever kind of reason he may want to do that. I'm guessing for, in case some exhaust leaks out and he wants to kind of make it look like the other guy did it. Again, as I said, I haven't really watched Gundam that much, but I'm sure that's what the show is like. Lots of fart jokes. And you get these pretty nice laser beam saber-y, beam blade effects. And he holds them pretty solidly. These are trigger finger hands, but he holds onto the beam saber handles quite well, and you can pose them all kinds of different ways, slashing things, swashbuckling through the space ways, because, Gundam 00 is totally about space pirates and ninja Amazons. I've seen a couple episodes of the show. It's pretty awesome, and it's pretty obvious what's going on in there. Aside from the beam sabers, he's also got these big-ass swords down here. Now, these things he can't hold like this. What you do with these is you actually have two different options of replacement handles. And then when you put one in, You get what seems to be pretty obvious, that being these things turning into swords, and what's cool is that they do actually peg into his forearms right around there. That does make the connection really solid, and I appreciate that quite a bit. But you do have one other option for single-wielding these things, and that's plugging in this little dude, and then when you do that, these have a different function. According to the kana I read on the box, and I don't remember the exact wording, but it involved the word gun or cannon or something, and you can twist this sideways, so he can either have swords, or a gun, or a sword and a gun, or a gun and a gun, or a sword and a sword. So you get lots of options there. There is one other trick you can do with these, and that's to utilize the last of the connectors. And when you do that, you can kind of Ray Park things up a little bit, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty keen. Dual-bladed, baby! So you kind of just cram this into his fingers, and you do have to bend the thumb out of the way a little bit, but now he's got this really cool kind of double-bladed staff deal, and then this is where the I've got fingers hand can really come into play. Because when you put that on, you can totally Ray Park this. You get all Darth Maul, get all, well, Ray Park at any convention where Force Effects lightsabers are sold, and it's pretty neat. I'm quite impressed with the way this looks. These are more options than I was expecting, given that this guy on sale is going for around $13 and goes for about $25 retail. Also, these things on his back, these kind of bladey things sticking off here, these can also do something. I found you can pull one off and attach it to the bottom of his arm thing, and it kind of cups around the square bit at the back, and then you can give him these kind of punch daggers. But if you mess with stuff, these do have slidey bits. They slide really, really minimally. It's almost entirely just for aesthetics, I think. I don't really get why they do this, but if you pull the other one off as well, then you can do some more kind of, double accessorizing. Stick that onto here, and now you got I guess a kind of a shield. It sticks pretty far off the back of his elbow, all things considered, but if you bring it up, and around the front, thanks to the articulation, you can do quite a bit with this guy, no matter what's going on, and you can also pose these dual GN drives pretty well. Yeah, you see, I knew some terminology there. Dual GN drives. That's how this guy cruises the spaceways and looks for his lost brother, Racer X. So, with all these different accessories, this Gundam 00 Robo Damashii is pretty value-loaded, I think. I mean, he's got a lot of desk play value, and given his size, desk play is really, I think, the key of these guys. I wouldn't really look at at least the Gundam 00 Damashis as, like, serious display pieces, but I would definitely look into them as just fun desk toys, really. Stuff that you can mess with while you're working, toiling away in the IT world. They just look pretty cool, and they don't take up much space. And if you can get a hold of one on sale, like the HLJ sale going on with these right now, these guys are very, very much worth the $13. At least 00 is, for sure. For $25, I'd say if you like the character, it's worth it, but it's not something that I would dive into myself for that price. That said, there are a lot more Gundam fans than there are of, well, me. So, if you are one of those multitudinous Gundam fans, this is a really nice alternative to the pricier, tinier HCM Pros, the cheaper, but you have to assemble them Gunpla kits, although, if you're into Gundam, you're probably way into the Gunpla stuff. And as a kind of successor to Mobile Suit in Action, I've got to say, this wins. This just wins. I never really liked the bendy plastic Mobile Suit in Action used, and just the plastic, the aesthetics, especially this ankle joint, this golden, delightful, delicious ankle joint that lets me maintain so many wide-legged, bow-legged even poses. It's really a nice figure, I think. I've seen some criticisms of these guys, but I gotta say, I kind of feel they're a little bit too picky. Maybe it's because I also don't really know my Gundams that well, so maybe this dude, doesn't follow the line art and, all the Kawamori fans, because you all know Kawamori, he designed Gundams, anyway, the line art fans are maybe not into this, but as a fun toy, as a desk toy, as a cool robot, I gotta give this guy props. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus with a Robo Damashii review. And I promise I'll get caught up on Gundam sometime. I mean, there's 300 episodes and 15 movies or something like that. And this is the one with, this is where Captain Harlock's from, right? Right?